Hi guys, welcome back to today's lesson. Today we're talking about non-count nouns, and more specifically, we'll talk about how to quantify or count non-count nouns, and we'll also talk about how to make a non-count noun plural, and we'll talk about context and see what nouns can be both count and non-count. And of course, in between each of these sections, we'll have little worksheets so that we can practice what we learn. In our last video, we talked about what non-count nouns are and how to identify and categorize them. But if you missed that video, we'll just have a very quick overview. So non-count nouns are nouns that generally are not used in their plural form. So they're used in their singular form. For example, words like food, money, pollution, or milk are generally used in their singular form. For example, I would say there's a lot of food in the refrigerator. We want a lot of money. There's too much pollution, or my kid drinks a lot of milk. So we have a lot of these nouns that we don't pluralize even though we're talking about a lot of it. And because we don't use these nouns in their plural form most of the time, we use them in their singular form, we're going to have to find different ways to quantify them or count them. Let's start with some basic rules. So these are two things that you should not do. Number one says do not use numbers in front of a non-count noun. For example, here it says I bought 2 milks from the market. So milk is a non-count noun. So therefore, you should not have that S there. But in addition to that, you're not allowed to have any numbers in front of a non-count noun. Later in the video, if you want to count non-count nouns, we'll talk about how to do that. But for now, do not put numbers in front of a non-count noun. The second one says, do not use the articles a or un in front of a non-count noun. For example, my counselor gave me a really good advice. Here it says a really good advice, but the word advice is non-count, so you're not allowed to have that article. The articles a or un indicate that the noun that you're talking about is singular, meaning there's only one of it. But just like number one, it says we're not allowed to use a number in front of a non-count noun. So number two is very similar. Even though it's not a number, a or un is saying that there's one of something. Therefore, you're not allowed to use a or un in front of a non-count noun. Now let's talk about when we can use the quantifiers few and many and little and much. We use the words little and much with non-count nouns. For example, I have very little patience for rude people. I'm going to use little because patience is non-count. On the bottom in red, it says we use the words few and many with count nouns. So if you can pluralize it, we're going to use few or many. For example, there were many people waiting in line. Again, people is plural, so we're going to use the word many. This diagram shows quantifiers that you can only use with non-count nouns, right here in the yellow, or only with count nouns here, or for both. For example, I can say I have very little time, and I can only use the word little with a non-count noun. Or to the right in the blue section, I can say I have several friends who go to this school. Friends is a count noun, and I can only use the word several with count nouns. In the middle, in the green, I can use it for both. I can say I have a lot of time. Time is a non-count, or I have a lot of friends, which is count. So even though this is not an exclusive list, these are some common quantifiers that you can use for count nouns, non-count nouns, or for both. Let's do a short exercise just for practice. Fill in the blanks with the words little or much for a non-count noun, or the words few or many for count nouns. And please pause this video for more time. Number 1, please hurry. I have very little time. Please excuse my writing. Time is a non-count noun again. Number 2, the salesman gave us a few options. Oops. Options is plural, so it's a count noun. Number 3, I put too much sugar in my coffee. Sugar is non-count noun. 4, although he had little education, he still has a very successful career. Number 5, I can't go out because I have too much. Oops. That's a M-U-C-H. Because I have too much homework to do. Homework, housework, work, they're all non-count nouns. I hope you did well on this little practice. If you're wondering how to differentiate between a count and a non-count noun, for example, how to tell the difference between a count and a non-count noun, please refer back to our first lesson, and I will link that below in the description box. In the beginning of this lesson, I said that we cannot put numbers in front of a non-count noun. But what if I want to? What if I want to be very specific? Instead of saying she gave me advice, what if I want to say she gave me 2 advices? So we'll talk about how to do that correctly. 2 advices is wrong, but there are ways to quantify or count non-count nouns. Let's read this sentence together. 3 furnitures will be delivered tomorrow. So this sentence is wrong. I cannot say 3 furnitures because furniture is a non-count noun. I can't have this S here, and also I cannot have a number right in front of a non-count noun. So I can say furniture will be delivered tomorrow, but I want to use the number 3 because I want to let you know that 3 furnitures will be delivered tomorrow. So how I can do this correctly is you will find words that are count nouns that quantify the non-count noun. For example, I can say 3 pieces of furniture. Woo! Sorry about my writing. So if you want to specify how many of the non-count nouns you're talking about, you're not allowed to just say 3 furnitures, 2 advices, 4 homeworks. We're going to find other nouns in between. So here I'm going to say 3 pieces of furniture will be delivered tomorrow. The word furniture will remain a non-count and in its singular form. Let's take a few moments to think about words that can quantify all of these non-count nouns. Please pause this video for more time. For milk and many other types of liquids that we consume, there are many ways to quantify them. For example, we can say a gallon of milk, or a cup of milk, a carton of milk. For soup, we can say, I got 5 cans of soup. We had a bowl of soup. For jewelry, we can say, I bought many pieces of jewelry. For ketchup, probably a bottle of ketchup, maybe a packet of ketchup, the little ones you get from McDonald's or something. For toothpaste, we will say right here, a tube of toothpaste. And for advice, I wonder what you guys put for advice. If your friend gave you 2 advices, we're not allowed to say that. So I would say, she gave me 2 pieces of really good advice. So you would just find other count nouns that are quantifiers to count your non-count nouns. Now let's talk about when we should make a non-count noun plural. So this entire time we said that non-count nouns are nouns that are generally not pluralized. So generally means not always, right? But most of the time. But there are cases when we can or should pluralize a non-count noun, and we'll talk about that right now. We can pluralize a non-count noun if we are talking about different types of the noun. For example, I collect monies from all over the world. Money generally is a non-count noun. For example, in this sentence, he made a lot of money from stocks. We shouldn't pluralize that in this sentence. But the first sentence, I collect monies from all over the world, means I'm not just generally talking about money, I'm talking about different types or different currencies of money. Then I can pluralize this non-count noun. If I say I cannot sleep because I drank so much coffee, the word coffee should remain a non-count noun. But I can say I like this coffee shop because they sell coffees from different countries. I'm talking about different types of coffees, then I can pluralize that non-count noun. Now let's talk about nouns that are both count and non-count nouns. For nouns that are both count and non-count, the context of the sentence will decide which one it'll be. For example, the first sentence on the left says, there is a lot of crime in my city. In this situation, it's a non-count noun, and I'm just generally referring to the idea of crime. On the right side, it says, there was a crime on campus last year. A crime with the indefinite article is saying that there was one crime on campus last year, and I'm using this as a count noun. So for nouns that are both, usually when we use it as a non-count noun, it's referring to the general idea, whereas when we use it as a count noun, we're giving a specific example of that noun. Let's look at one more example. On the left, it says, I don't have much free time these days. Here, it is a non-count noun, the word time. Just overall, I don't have that much time. On the right side, it says, did you have a good time at the party? A good time, we're using it as a count noun. Here, I'm asking if you had a good experience at the party, right? So even though it's the same word, time, depending on how you use it, it will either be non-count or count. I lied. This actually is my last example. On the left, it says, I ate too much cake. I feel sick. So here, the word cake is a non-count noun, right? Just like the word bread, I ate too much bread, it's a non-count noun here. On the right, I'm being more specific. The bakery made a mistake, so we had 2 cakes for the party. Here, I have 2 whole cakes for the party. So depending on the context and what you're trying to say, the noun will go from non-count to count. Let's take a few minutes to do our last exercise. Please pause this video for more time, and please just choose between the singular or plural form of the noun, depending on the context of the sentence. Number 1, I lost so much hair after having a baby. So it's a non-count noun here. Number 2, I found 9 more white hairs this morning. 9 hairs. These sentences are very sad. Number 3, I had to write a paper for my English class. So in number 3, the word paper is talking about an essay, right? Like an assignment for school, not the material paper. Material like wood, glass, that paper is non-count. But in number 3, it's actually just saying I had to write an essay for my English class, so it will be a count noun. Number 4, companies waste a lot of paper. Now it's talking about the material. Companies waste a lot of paper for mail ads. Number 5, my son loves to drink juice, right? Most liquids, I think all liquids, are non-count. Number 6, here are some juices. We have orange, apple, and cranberry juice. In number 6, we say juices because I'm telling you that we have different types of juices. So in this case, it can be used as a count noun. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that helpful. And if you did, please consider subscribing and liking this video. And I'll see you guys in my next lesson. Bye.